David Taub here with GV Wire, joined by Congressman-elect John Duarte from his nursery. I see the poinsettias behind you, Mr. Congressman-elect.
Yes, sir, David. We are open for business here at Duarte Nursery. This is my family business here. I own it with my brother. I run it with my family, and we're selling poinsettias here in Houston, California.
Okay, but starting January 3rd, you become congressman representing the Valley. First of all, tell me, what was that concession call from Adam Gray like?
It was very pleasant. Adam's been around for a while, and he called me when it was appropriate to call me, and we had a good brief discussion. Assured each other that we have both our numbers, and we'd have an open line of communication if there's anything we had to talk about.
So what was the key to winning 13th congressional district in California, where the district had a 14-point Democratic advantage? You're a Republican. How are you able to pull this out?
We got on message. A lot of the working families in this district really aren't volleying one way or another as Democrats or Republicans. They've got life right in their face, and making ends meet, finding opportunities, raising their children in safe neighborhoods, having schools that are accountable and high quality. These are what they're worried about. They're not worried about the machinations in Washington, D.C. So we went door to door, and we knocked in not just the fancy neighborhoods. We knocked in all the neighborhoods of this district. I personally knocked over 3,000 doors in neighborhoods where the working families live. And we talked about get water on the farms, drill American oil, get the cost of living under control, making life affordable again. And I think the focus of the campaign and my interest in putting that kind of work into it really stems from my work here at Duarte Nursery, working alongside many working families in nursery production, people that have been here at the nursery for a long time, and my customers out in the district, dealing with the farmers and their water problems. These are problems that affect Duarte Nursery, just like they affect the farm workers, just like they affect the farmers in the district. These are the people I work with, whether as employees here at the nursery or my customers out on the farm. And I was able to resonate with them, connect with them. And these are many people I already knew. This is what the House of Congress is for, right? You're supposed to go into your hometown, your district. You're supposed to build your career, build your reputation, get to know the community, be part of the community, and then go serve in the House of Congress. And then when you're done serving, come home and live under the rules that you made for everybody else. And that seemed to resonate.
Now, this was a costly campaign. And speaking of your reputation, I mean, you were called a dishonest businessman. You were called, a Republican extremist. When you see these ads on TV and other places, how was your reaction to them?
Well, I just streamed. I stayed off the news channels. And I heard a lot about them. I watched them on my cell phone. When new ads came out, I looked at them. I knew it was out there. But this is what we bargained for when we got in the race. This is how it goes. But we have to realize all this, we think it's ugly. We think it's over the top. It's expensive. It seems like a lot of money gets spent on nonsense. But this is American democracy. And this isn't an alternative to, unicorns and rainbows. This is an alternative to solving our political difference out in the streets with riots and violence. And so I'm not going to complain about political messaging and derisions that were delivered during the campaign. They were delivered two ways, and we all expect it. I'm thankful that in America, a farmer businessman can run for Congress, make his case to the people that live in the district, and then prevail if that's what's in order, and go to Washington, D.C. and represent the constituents as their congressman.
And on the campaign, when you saw conservative Republican Sheriff Margaret Mims of Fresno endorse Democrat Adam Gray, what were you thinking?
Well, that was her choice. That's between her and the party here locally. My job is to work with Margaret Mims and anybody else in the district who holds a public service position to make sure that we solve problems for the district. I've already reached out to a few folks who supported Adam, had breakfast with a couple supervisors yesterday. I'll be talking to the sheriffs and we're only talking about the future. They are free Americans supporting who they want to support for Congress. I want to make sure they're there to work with me to improve lives in California 13th Congressional District and throughout the Central Valley.
I've heard you describe yourself, you're going to be a bipartisan congressman. What does that mean?
Well, to me, it means making a case to the constituents in this district about what the government policies are that are coming down that affect their lives and how they can be different and improve their lives. And then working with Republicans, Democrats, independents, whoever. There's a lot of nonpartisan offices in the district also. And, making sure that everybody who's in public service, who's in elected office in this district, realizes that constituents demand results. And we are expected to work together to deliver those results. But it starts with the constituents being aware of what affects them and how it can be different, and how the constituents can demand that both Republicans and Democrats get together and deliver results for them.
Now, gas prices were one of the key issues in the campaign. So now that you're a congressman-elect, what's your plan to keep them down?
Well, we have high gas prices because we've abandoned domestic energy. When I went door to door in the district, hello, how you doing? I'm John Duarte, running for U.S. Congress, local farmer and businessman. I want to drill American oil. I want to get water on the farms, and I want to lower your cost of living. That was the pitch. And until we drill American oil, America is not only going to have high gas prices, we're going to have general inflation. We have a carbon economy. Drilling oil doesn't only provide gas and energy, it's plastics, it's paints, it's adhesives, it's fertilizer for farms, it's pharmaceuticals. So many things come out of oil production that affect every part of our economy. And if we don't drill American oil, we're walking away from domestic energy security, we're walking away from food security, we're walking away from industrial security and industrial independence, and all of the opportunity that comes with having thriving energy, food, and industrial industries here in America. So with that, again, is something that we're going to prosecute the facts around. We're going to make sure that constituents in this district learn more and more about these policies and how they affect them. And then we're going to expect partnership, both left and right, Democrat, Republican, to come together and solve these problems that I'm hoping the constituents will continue to demand solutions to.
What will the first piece of legislation in Washington be that you'll introduce?
Odds are, well, first thing I'm going to do is get the facts together around water in the valley here. We're going to look at what water is being flushed out to the ocean and why. If it's for species recovery efforts, that which a lot of it is, we're going to demand to know, are we recovering species with these huge amounts of water that we're flushing out of our economy? We're going to know what the human health consequences of flushing this water out to the ocean and not putting it on the farms, not delivering it to cities is. And we're going to look at where the government appropriations are becoming from the federal government to provide this water infrastructure and to provide ongoing Clean Water Act compliance costs. Are we spending these resources on human benefit, or are we spending them year after year, decade after decade on failed endangered species restoration efforts? Once we have that fact set down, we're going after the policy changes that, and some of it may be legislative, some of it may be through appropriations, some of it may be through agency oversight to get the changes we need to improve lives here in the Valley.
So it sounds like a water bill of some sort that we can expect from John Duarte.
I'm hoping to be on the Agriculture Committee, and I'm hoping to be on the Natural Resources Committee. And those two committees have a lot to do with water on the farms, with grant monies available to farmers to take care of some of the groundwater restoration, flood control, recapture programs that we need here. They also have to do with overseeing the agencies that make the decisions to flush our water out to the ocean instead of making it available for communities and farms here in the Valley.
Will you support Kevin McCarthy to become Speaker of the House?
I will. I'm very excited that the Central Valley is going to have one of its own as the Speaker of the House. That's good for the Valley. It's good for my district. And I will have to say, I respect the way Kevin McCarthy is leading our Republican conference back in Washington, D.C. And I think he's building respect for the way he's leading the conference back in Washington, D.C.
Now, do you agree with these promises of investigations, everything from Hunter Biden to the border? Do you agree that's where the focus of the next Congress should be?
The focus, no. I'm a farmer and a businessman. I'm one of the few farmers and businessmen in Congress. Congress has lots of lawyers and investigators and prosecutors. They can handle the investigations. I think we all want to make sure that the American president is an American president. We want to know what the foreign dealings have been. We want to know that we have equal treatment under the law from the Department of Justice. And I think there's real room for suspicion that we may or may not at this point. But that's not where my focus is. My focus is going to be on drilling American oil, getting water on the farms, and improving lives here in the 13th district.
Would you support the impeachment of any federal official up to and including the president?
Impeachment is there for proven corruption or complete dereliction of duty. Impeachment is not there as a tool for our political saws. And so it's all based on the facts at hand. And until there's a set of facts at hand, I can't tell you whether I'd support an impeachment or not, but it shouldn't be used loosely. And we've seen a couple examples of that recently, and we need to stay away from that ourselves as Republicans. I don't think that benefits anybody in my district.
Recently, former President Donald Trump hosted Ye, the former Kanye West, and another person purported to be a white supremacist at a dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Any comments on that?
I don't want to associate with white supremacists. I think Donald Trump needs to own his own actions, his own words. And I'm really not going back to Washington, D.C. to play mean girls about a bunch of personalities or anything like that. I'm going back to Washington, D.C. to deliver benefits to my district and to improve the quality of life here in my district.
Great. And Congressman, final question. You got about a month to make this transition. Do you have your staff together? How do you spend these next 3 or 4 weeks before January 3rd?
Well, exactly that. Hiring the best team possible. I want a good, diverse team throughout the district here. We've got several communities here. We've got Hispanics. We've got Hmongs. We've got an Assyrian community here in Turlock within my district. We want to make sure we're reaching out to all of them. We've got a lot of Sikhs in this district. We want to make sure that we've got a constituent services team up and down the district that can really reach out and serve all parts of our district and all people within our district. Then back in Washington, D.C., I want some experienced, aggressive, committed folks who will go after the public policy that benefits our district. And we're having some great meetings. There's a lot of great people. We're going to get the right ones that can deliver the most benefits to California District 13 as possible.
All right, Congressman-elect John Duarte, thank you so much for joining us.
David, thank you. I'm available. I really appreciate the ability to reach out and communicate with your media group and anyone else who can get our word out in the district. John Duarte is very proud to be the congressman for California District 13, and I'm very honored to have the support of the voters in this district.